In 1998, this bald goofball with his orange glasses created a game that became more iconic than maybe even its first entry. Because you see, after the first game, Shinji Mikami was kind of shifted over and pulled away into a producer situation. Maybe it was because of that hat he was wearing. That or Japanese work culture is insane, which I have heard it is. But either way, out of these two first entries into this series, there became legends from this. I mean, Shinji Mikami went on to make The Evil Within, which is one of my favorite horror games of all time, and Hideki Kamiya went on to make Devil May Cry and Bayonetta, two of the best hack-and-slash games to ever touch God's green earth. These two gentlemen, other than their ideas and their original attempts at greatness, are outshined by this man right here, Yoshihiro Anpo. I'm sorry, I'm not Japanese, but today we're talking about Resident Evil 2. Remake. The game starts off with a real bang, and when I mean bang, it literally means this semi-truck driver rammed his truck up the ass of some chick on the highway. Only when he gets out of the truck feeling a little bad about it, I guess, there's not enough David Allan Coe music in the world to get you over running somebody over on the highway, but he's trying to be a good guy and just trying to be a solid dude. And right as he turns around, of course, we get the horror movie moment. We get the gore fest. Or not really gore fest, but we get a zombie standing up. And of course, he's gonna get the type of mouth hug that I never want. But after the uncomfortable mouth hug, the game switches over to the perspective of some chick on a bike. Now, in my gameplay, I played as Claire throughout this entire gameplay session. Now, you have the choice to play as either Claire or Leon. And I was like, bro, I want to stare at some ass, baby. And not a man ass. I mean, I love myself some juicy peaches of a woman. I truly am a man of culture. But anyway, our protagonist finds herself at a gas station. And this is where you get control of the game. And you realize that this isn't some, like, Vince Vaughn remake of Psycho. Due to the fact that this game's director, old penis head from earlier, decided to do something ingenious, give the player the control of the camera, because locked camera angles are unholy. They are like putting a nun on her knees and then continuously dumping loads on her forehead. Completely obscene and rude, and you shouldn't do it. I'm really going to hell for that. I just know it. They have a place warming up for me. But I do appreciate how this game's like introductory walking sequence doesn't feel like it takes too much time. I mean, once you get into this gas station, things start to heat up. I mean, it is setting an aesthetic right away, and I'm here to fucking lop it up. God, my jaw's jacked, and I'm ready to gulp, baby. And as I cruise through this bitch, it just gets like gnarlier and gnarlier, only to end up with finding this cop holding his perp against the wall. Only it's not a perp, it's a zombie, you sillies. You thought it was a perp. No, it's a zombie with all the riz, and he just rips out this dude's neck like I know there's a bottom out there who's like, eat my ass like that, eat my ass like that. Not only is this scene incredibly intense, but this also facilitates as being your gun tutorial, and gone are the days of being locked in place while you shoot. Old penis head coming in clutch again with this remake, and goddamn is it wonderful to be able to move and fire a gun at the same time. Another reason why I will never play the original. Another thing this game does really brilliantly in this opening section is it hits you with enough zombies to not feel quite overwhelmed at the beginning, but just enough to where you expel almost all of your ammo, as well as to give me a moment of pause to really evaluate my area. I mean, right away I noticed to my left there was a box with a key hanging from it, so obviously I need to go over there. Just kidding, I noticed the giant ass cheeks on the wall because I'm based and red pilled like that. I can't even figure out where to put this in my inventory because look at her tits and ass, bro. Ginormous, juicy jugs all over the place. Whoever ran this gas station was a based giga chad on some Andrew Tate levels. But the fear is beginning to overwhelm me due to my one round of ammunition. It's dark, I'm scared, my clit is quivering, and right away I start to notice people getting up and moving. And these guys aren't people, they're zombies. With no way to defend myself, this big buffoon of a man, the balloon of a human being, grabs a hold of me, and I do not consent. And ladies, that's how you handle it. If somebody tries to grab up on you, tries to get some groping action, you give them the old face slam to the ground because they're a bunch of bitches. And speaking of bitches, this is around the time that Leon shows up and saves my bitch ass. Yeah, you thought I was going to call Leon a bitch. Nope, this time I'm the bitch because I needed some saving. And what a better way to rizz up a girl than saving her life from a bunch of monsters. I mean, I mean, hell, I was about to glaze the shit out of his face right after this. I mean, we got into a nice sexy car ride. Yeah, sure, the world's going to hell around us. But we are together, and that's all that matters until this semi-truck just starts plowing through everything behind us, and we're stopped with zombies right ahead of us in the way. What are we gonna do? Should we kiss? No, and it's not time for that yet. It's time to get out and get away. But yet, we can't get out because the zombies are trying to, like, mash up on our genitals, and we're stuck in this semi-truck just plowing, and it's the same guy from the beginning of the game. This bitch has come full circle. That little intro horror segment, it wasn't just a horror segment. It was foreshadowing on what was to come because he's a shit driver and probably was drunk the whole time. And getting bit by the creature didn't make him a worse driver. He was already that shitty. I get out of the car, disoriented and afraid. And old fetal alcohol syndrome's truck is about to erupt due to all the fire and chaos going around. So I make a break for it only to get like ham blasted into the side of a car. I am the rough porn section of Pornhub. Yet there is no amount of gagging that I cannot handle because I am a goddamn American and I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and I make a break for it. And I didn't get touched by any of these son of a bitches. Bro, I just imagined that I was a teenage girl and R. Kelly's stream was coming after me. I then bust open the gates, knowing that my potential baby daddy might be on the other side. Oh, Leon, where art thou? All Leon glazing aside, I'm officially at the precinct. I have a bit of safety, a bit of time to breathe. I get to save my game, and then I log into this computer to find out that Leon's stuck on the other side of the precinct, getting chased by all sorts of hell. So instead of 2 to tango, I got 1 to flick the bean, and I gotta take care of this clit slapping on my own. I have to solve the puzzle of how to get out of this precinct and survive this chaos by myself. And I come across a door with a man banging on it on the other side, and he needs help. So I give him a reaching hand, an old hand job, and pull him out of the crack of his own anus, only for him to get torn in half. His death was brutal and tragic, and absolutely disgusting at every single moment as I pull him through the door with his innards spreading across the floor. His death was not in vain, because you see in his right hand he had information that can help me survive. Because as one door shuts, another shall open, and in this case, the door is underneath the statue at the beginning of the precinct, and I have to figure out the puzzle in order to solve this. So I make my desperate drive back. In a moment of clarity, I take my reprieve, only to get charged up on from behind. I mean, I know my ass is juicy, but come on, leave me alone for a second to at least catch my breath. And on my way back to the main precinct, I notice a lot of dead people on the floor that on the way in, who were dead, were getting back up. So I have this grand idea. I go into the speaking room, no, not to make a presentation on how I'm a douchebag politician, but because I know that these stupid idiots without their brains are gonna come through the doorway into a hail of bullets. That's right, I'm blasting loads into their foreheads. Yeah, you've heard about blasting loads into their mouth, get an old salty surprise, but no, I'm giving them shots to the dome, baby. Some lead injections. And damn, this guy just got ate by the door. I don't even think I'm the one who killed him. I think that door fucking ate him. The shit's like a fucking Dark Souls chest. What the heck? Anyways, I finally do get back to this generator or electrical panel and throw in the fuse to make my final escape out of this creepy-ass hallway, and right as I'm pushing through, giving it my full might, the old college try, a silly goober decides to grab me by my cankles and try to pull me back in. No, why would you do this to me? But don't worry, Marvin came to my rescue. Oh, Marvin, what a wonderful man you are, using his massive size 12 shoes, or whatever size he wears, to smash that zombie's fucking dome in. Which makes me instantly like Marvin as a guy, even though he is hurt, and I know that if I took him on my little excursions, it would not only slow me down, but it would also worsen his injuries. So I make sure to tell him, hey Marvin, you seem like a really cool guy, and I'm willing and able to help, but you need to stay here. You need to take a break, maybe put some pressure pressure on that wound because you're not looking good. All the color in your face is running away. You're starting to look like the later generations of Michael Jackson. To which this man begrudgingly agrees. He knows that he can't do it by himself, so he knows it's up to me to figure out the puzzle of this precinct. But he is too good of a guy to leave me empty-handed. You see, he decides to lend me his big black combat knife, which isn't just crucial to my survivability, but it's also a crucial piece of the puzzle to help me gain access to a new area of this giant labyrinth or lock mechanism of this precinct. Because what I have noticed about this game is this whole police precinct is like a giant combination lock, and I'm slowly picking my way through it, assessing and moving each tumbler until it sets in place. Speaking of setting things in place, one of the key factors of this game is going to be inventory management. Going into different rooms, looting, making sure that you have enough slots open in your inventory so that you can get everything you need from that room and still be able to make it out and make it back to your storage. Throughout the entirety of the precinct, there's many safe rooms, different rooms that have the little typewriter for saving, and your storage box. Anything you put in that storage box will be in every single one of those storage areas throughout the map, so you never really have to worry too much about not being able to access your inventory. I don't love inventory, but I do have to say this inventory never really got in my way, and I did think that it was pretty functional, and I like that you can find different areas to expand upon it throughout the game. But enough about inventory management. Let's talk about horror aesthetics, and I think this game is one of the best I have ever played when it comes in terms of always keeping you on its toes. I mean, just look at this guy that I came across in this hallway right here while I'm searching this giant lock mechanism of a map. His jaw is literally coming off of his damn face. I even pumped around into him just because I thought that he might get up. And that's how you know that this game is like well made in terms of horror, is I'm shooting bodies before they even have the chance to fucking attack me. And the fact that there's just like people hanging from the ceiling, and the game is just an asshole about it too and has them drop behind you, that literally scared me and made me jump. Perfect jump scare. Now, the main portion, like I said, is this place is a giant lock. So, we'll find one area where you don't have the key to it. So, you have to route yourself around the entire environment. And on top of that, you'll get little puzzles to do throughout it. Like this lock right here. Around the area, you'll find like different things that'll tell you how to unlock it. You can also use a guide. That's what I kind of did most of the time because like I play a ton of games, so I just want to like get the shit done. But one of my favorite things to find was there's two of these on the entire map, and they have like keys inside of them. I loved this little puzzle so much, and you get the little flashing lights when you're done. It's just something to make your balls tighten and your dick hard. It's actually pretty cool. And that's something that's important when you're building up puzzles in the game, is having a decent variety, having constant things that keep you on your toes and keep you engaged as a gamer. I mean, one of the biggest problems I had with God of War's, the modern God of War games, is it's just throw axe at bullshit. And another thing with like the game Hellblade Senua's Saga, you do the same puzzle throughout that whole fucking campaign. It's just rinse and repeat in slightly different ways. This game, I'm constantly feeling like I'm doing new stuff, and I'm excited when I come to a puzzle because it's engaging my mind. It's not the same shit over and over, and that really goes to show how much love and care they put into this remake. Or hell, even the original game. I don't know how many of these puzzles there's overlap in the original game to this game, but what I do know is a lot of modern games seem to cop out when it comes to like the puzzle mechanics of the game. It seems like a lot of modern games just want you to focus on the action, do the basic same puzzle because they don't want normies to get fucking lost and bored. And this game kind of takes the Dark Souls page of the book, or even Dark Souls took a page out of Resident Evil's book by having the level design really kind of, you explore an area, loop back to another area, then explore another area, loop back. And I really like that. I've always really liked that because it feels like you're constantly moving forward, but also backtracking enough to help accomplish your entire end goal. And also to give the combat its flowers. I mean, this game has an incredibly fun combat loop. It's squishy, it's fun, it's just the right amount of fuck you up in the face. I love it. Every time I'm killing stuff and I'm getting attacked and I feel that urgency, I'm having a blast doing it, and the fear is the perfect amount. I mean, I didn't play this game on hard or anything, so because I'm not that type of gamer. I'm not here for the extreme challenge. I'm here to just enjoy the set pieces and enjoy watching heads pop and blood shoot everywhere. But this game gives me exactly what I want at every turn. I never felt like I was too crucially out of ammo. I felt like the game gave me enough resources where I could combine gunpowder and stuff to create more ammunition. It never made me feel like I was completely hopeless, and that to me is more important than just being like afraid. I don't mind fear in a game, but feeling like I'm completely fucking useless is something that pisses me off. It feels like a limp dick when you're in the middle of an orgy. Nobody wants that. So when I play a lot of horror type games and the game just constantly gives me 1 or 2 rounds to use sparingly, that has always pissed me off. Now, the game doesn't give me like unlimited ammunition where I can just go fucking stir crazy and murder everything like it's a Postal game or some shit, but it gives me enough resources to where I'm never really in too much trouble and I can handle my surroundings, which I think is important. Whether I want to run through a section or gun my way through, the game gives me that option, and that to me is more important than trying to make me feel scared. It's why you'll never see me do a review of Outlast on this channel, because I do not have any time in my day to play a game where I don't have the ability to fight my way through it. I think it's illogical and stupid. I would always have a gun going into a situation like this. Not that I'm some doomsday prepper or some shit, but I like to keep myself semi-prepared. But eventually I do get to the edge of the police precinct, and this helicopter just fucking rams into the side of the building. And well, look who's here, my boy Leon, looking all juicy, and I want to glaze all over his face. I want to just give him the old fucking sit down action on his nose. But you see, the universe isn't quite on our side yet, because the helicopter bursts into flames, and I know that soon it's going to pop. Soon it's going to awaken all the hell that is on the other side of Leon, which will tragically bring this beautiful reunion to an end by waking up all the hell that's on the other side of him. But it is a good regrouping point to kind of revitalize the player's like gamer sense, to say, hey, there's something I'm fighting for. There's a goal at the end of this that I will survive. And that's important, especially when most of what I've been doing is just aimlessly wandering around, picking shit up, and then solving puzzles. It's good to reinitiate that goal and that urgency, and I really like the way they did this here. And then it ends you with getting bolt cutters, which will allow you to access more areas that were previously inaccessible. It's something that this game is genius at. It's always giving you something. It's making your exploration worth it, and a lot of games don't understand that, especially when it comes to like big open world games. And this game almost has an open world aesthetic, because you're constantly, it's not like a giant open world, but it's a very connected world, so you're constantly led by this exploration, and it's always rewarded. I played like games like Prey, and I think Prey 2017 was a decent game, but I didn't feel that my exploration was always rewarded. I felt like sometimes I'd just go into an area and it was just fucking pointless. But this game, when I go into like a random room with a statue, well, I picked up a book and an arm earlier in the game. Well, I put those arm and book on this fucking douchebag, and he gives me a scepter. That scepter has a gem in it. And later, that gem will combine with something else, which will give me a flash drive. And that flash drive will lead to me getting an SMG. And that's the type of stuff that's cool. It's that trickle-down effect. It's that fucking Ronald Reagan energy. And if it wasn't for this game constantly looping back into itself, I could see somebody playing this and like seeing like, oh, well, why did I explore this room? All I got is a piece of wood. It doesn't fucking matter. But in this game, it's crucial to get that piece of wood, because if you want to go back to an area, because you know you're going to have to go back there, because now you have found a piece of all the puzzle to bring you back there, you know that you don't want to leave a window open, or that hallway that you had just cleared of that infestation of fucking douchebag monsters are going to be back with a vengeance. So it is constantly important to keep a decent amount of stuff to cover these entrances, so you don't have to deal with those fugly pieces of shit anymore. It's also important to understand your surroundings, and because of this constant knowing that I'm going to be going different places, and when I enter new areas, I have to be careful, I have to be calculated, I can't just go running in guns a-blazing. Though ammo to me was never really much of a problem, because I was constantly on top of it and searching for new gunpowder and stuff, I still still tried to not rush into places because that would lead to instant death, because whenever you're close enough to one of these monstrosities, they will grab you and pull you down. So most of the time, the best tactical solution for this is to make a educated retreat, to pull yourself back to where they have to come to you so you hold the advantage, to space your distance from them. And right around the time you start to learn this, the game will start to like kind of throw other things in your wake. Like I was right after this area where I just kind of figured out how to handle the zombies. I'd made sure that I always tried to keep my distance. They throw this one of these guys, it's like a licker or some shit. I mean, if I was around Claire, I'd try to lick her too, not in like a creepy way. I would obviously like take her to dinner and shit first, but keeping your distance from this enemy is a little more difficult. He moves really fast, he's able to traverse the map a lot better than you are, he has a ranged attack, and I like that this is a good switch up in the combat, and it was needed at this point because if you were like me, you had kind of figured out the zombies, you'd figure out how to deal with them, though they'll pop up and kind of keep you on your toes. Having a new enemy to pop in is always important. Enemy variety is the bread and butter of most games, and this game does it incredibly well. Not to mention that right around the time that you meet this guy, you should have enough resources to be able to unlock the grenade launcher, which we'll get to again a little later. Because after I use a little bit of super detective skills to figure out some puzzles and my insane abilities as a super sleuth, I can collect this medallion and make my way out of this precinct for now. I believe me and Marvin have been through goddamn enough in the middle of this precinct. It is time for us to move on out to warmer, bushier pussies of the new horizon. That is the dream. So as I open this gate, I begin to tell Marvin, hey jabroni, it's time we go. I know that we can get you some help on the other side. Only Marvin is worse for wear. He is fucking useless at this point. He is dying, and we both know it. So tragically, I must leave him behind. Even he says that I need to leave him behind, so I begrudgingly listen to him because he has been a good friend up to this point. As I progress down into the labyrinth that is under the police station in the secret entrance, I find a little girl. She is hiding, and she is afraid, and she's telling me she's hiding from a giant monster. Little do I know that that son of a bitch is behind me, which is such a wonderful and brilliant like horror movie moment. It's like, it's right behind you, you stupid son of a bitch. And you see this giant glowing orange eye, and then you see this ugly piece of shit behind you, and thus begins the first boss fight of this game. And bro, let me tell you, the way this thing starts with getting slammed under the ground and him landing right next to you, dude, freaking dope. And obviously I feel like I'm well prepared. I have a grenade launcher. Like what are you gonna do to me, bro? I have the fucking boom boom stick. I'm the beast. I do like though that you can't just like walk over this guy with the grenade launcher. I thought that, oh well, I have a grenade launcher, I'll pop him like 3 times with this thing. First I missed the first time like completely, like a goddamn jackass. Hit him again, and I'm like, a couple of these will beat him. But that's not really how it goes. See, the main thing of a lot of the bigger, more powerful enemies inside of Resident Evil is you gotta find their weak spots. So you gotta shoot them in the eyeball right there. Now, I had to do this a bunch more times than I showed here on the video. It would have been way too drawn out if I didn't. But you can see that he's like half scientist, and that will come into play a little later. But for right now, I have defeated the enemy at my mist, and it's time to progress a little further. Only now, I have somebody to take care of. I have this little girl who has now come under my tutelage and my protection. And this is another really important and like crucial thing this game does. Now, the first person you run into who needs your help is Marvin. Marvin's in too bad a shape to really be carried throughout the entire campaign. So the game makes you think that now you can take a little bit back. You don't have to have this sense of urgency because somebody else's life is on your mind and in your hands. You have to make sure that you try to do your best because you're not only looking just after you. So after you don't have that anymore, the game gives you enough time to do a little exploring before it gives you another person on to be looking after, to crucially take care of. And right away the game even like throws in another little change. There's another survivor in the precinct, only he is a fat piece of fucking dog shit who points a gun at a child. Not cool, not bueno. Anybody who points guns at kids is a piece of shit and deserves to be locked away. You need to turn your badge in, sir. You are a disgrace to the police force. I fucking fucking hate you. Not to mention, he just kind of like gives me gross vibes. I mean, he's already like slimy and greasy, and he creeps me out. And then in the way he treats this girl, for who absolutely does nothing. Like, literally all Claire has done is try to stop this incoming scourge of evil, and this douchebag has the audacity to not only handcuff you on the ground, but to also like beat the shit out of you. Like, you already got it. You fucking made your point. Why are you pistol whipping me and leaving me for dead? I hate this side of humanity. You know that when it came down to an apocalypse, there's going to be these fucking pussy ass bitches like this who just fucking suck. They suck. They're fucking garbage, and it pisses me off. And, like, the fact that this little girl's like, don't kill her, I'll go with you willingly. I like that she has, like, some deep character moments here. I like that every character in this game seems to be written pointfully and with as much of a realistic pen as you can in a situation like this. I felt like all of these characters were really based in realism, and I could understand that these conflicts would actually happen, and that's something that I think is really cool, and a lot of games don't understand that. They're not just vehicles for pulling the story forward. It truly feels like you're in a living, breathing world, and that's something that I think is fucking dope. But now you have your new environment. This is the second main area that you have to explore, and now we come to why the grenade launcher is lit. Those lickers, one shot them. You can just fucking obliterate them. And goddamn is it beautiful. Because they take a lot of pistol rounds. So one of the main things I did carrying into any situation, even when the lickers would catch me off guard, if I could get a moment to break away from them and really clear that distance, I would be able to fucking obliterate them, and I loved this. I love any game that can make a weapon OP on some enemies and then useless on other enemies, so that you're constantly switching between weapons, and every weapon seems to stay relevant. And this game is one of the best at making sure that your entire arsenal is as relevant as the first moment you get it throughout the campaign. It's something that is very hard to do, and this game was able to do it. And that has to give it its fucking props. But after getting my ass thoroughly beaten by a bunch of zombies and finding everything in this little parking garage that is necessary for my survival and progression, I do end up getting a better pistol, and that's a semi-automatic, which is fucking amazing. I mean, I like the revolver, and the revolver will become a crucial part of my survivability later in the campaign. But in this moment right here, in like where I'm just getting mobbed by goddamn monsters, it is nice to have something that is quite a bit quicker shooting, that I can get my way through an environment a bit faster, because reloading the revolver, even with the speed change, wasn't great, and I only had 5 shots. Now having 13, and then eventually, because I had found a mag extension, having like 26 rounds is such a fucking dream. So with the help of my flashy new pistol, I've killed everything that I needed to kill. I've gotten everything that I've needed to got, and it's time to progress my way to the end of this little parking lot section. It's time to move up the elevator, which, as far as elevator goes, I love these elevator doors. I mean, this wood aesthetic, absolutely wonderful. I really like these old-timey wood elevators. I think they're really nice. So as a review for the elevator, it's a solid 7 out of 10. Love the doors, and not to mention where it exits out, you get this nice view. You get these fucking awesome windows. I love tall windows like that. I don't know, it's something that gets my dick weirdly hard. I like it a lot. And you get to then move, once you move to here, you get to see this secret entrance into the coolest office of all time. Bro has himself the baddest collection of animals that he has hunted. Well, he probably didn't hunt them, because I have a sense that he's a bitch. He probably just bought them on eBay. But if I had like that many stuffed like mounts, oh god, I'd be so freaking based. But right after this, you get access back to the helicopter, and this son of a bitch shows up, and this dude's fucking scary. Every time you see him or hear him coming, you know you are in a bad zone and you need to fucking move. He eats bullets for breakfast. He slaps taint for good luck. He slaps clit harder than anyone should ever do it, where it's not comfortable. It is terrifying. And as I run from him, I come back to my homie Marvin, and he's sitting upright. And I'm like, Marvin, what's up, my homie? And he's dead. He's a zombie now. So I have to put down my only other friend I've made in this game, which hurts me so goddamn deeply. The pain pain, and the suffering, the humanity, which only goes to prove that we really do live in a society. And it sucks too, because this used to be a safe area in the game, and that is no longer true. So be on your toes when you go to save in that main entrance, because Big Kahuna will show up and whoop your ass there any chance he gets. Like, I was just, not to mention that I've had to kill Marvin a couple times, which sucks. Every time I had to put bullets in him, it sucks. Like right there, I had to double tap his ass with my SMG, and it hurts me deeply, dude. I don't want to do that to my friend. And when I think that this place is safe, and this son of a bitch shows up all of a sudden, fuck this, dude. This was so scary for me, because I thought I was in my safe zone. Yeah, Marvin's a zombie there, but that makes sense to me. The rest of the game, nothing follows me out to the main hall. Why the fuck is this guy so special? Does he have secret cheat codes? I mean, look how scary he is. But if you do hit him enough times in the head, he will go down, which gives you a bit of a reprieve to get the fuck out of there, which doesn't really help from the constant dread you're feeling throughout this whole, reunion with the police station. I mean, yeah, you can kill him on one side of the map, sprint to the other, and then accomplish your goals, but in the back of your mind, you hear these footsteps echoing through the police station, and you're constantly thinking, do I have enough time to get this done? Like, right here, I was doing this puzzle where I had to drag these things, and I thought I heard footsteps, so I was looking around, and just out of straight fear, I knew at any second the son of a bitch would show up, and I know that I have to get to the clock tower, so I can get the rest of these stupid, computer parts, mainframe parts, or whatever, the electrical panel shit, and the whole time I'm just thinking, please, you giant son of a bitch, don't corner me. That's all I thought throughout this whole section. Regular zombies, they can suck on my clit as hard as they want. I have an SMG. You're not fucking beating me. I mean, my bullets go and you can't handle that shit. Like, this guy thought he was gonna creep up on my ass. Dead in the face. And I finally do get to the clock tower, where I do this nice little puzzle where I move gears around. And I don't know if the guy just couldn't find me, or if he's not allowed to come into this area, which either way, I was super happy, because when I found out that I kind of had to do this puzzle thing, because I got that first gear, and I was like, gear, I might need that later, because a lot of times you don't know if the puzzle's in the room, or something down the line. After I couldn't shoot the electrical components down, I realized, these gears have to do with the puzzle. I'm gonna go fucking look around. I go upstairs, plop a good old fucking gear in its slot, and here starts up the elevator. It's moving, it's grooving, it's fucking firing off a bell. I thought it was an elevator. I was completely wrong. But this shit goes off, and the whole time I'm thinking, wow, this makes sense. Let's put off as much goddamn noise as possible so that Big Kahuna can come eat my asshole raw. Luckily, he was like deaf or some shit, because I really didn't have to deal with him on my way back to doing this whole circuit board thing. This puzzle made me really hanker back to the BioShock days. And it was nice that this game, in this series, is able to do the BioShock-like puzzle, but I don't have to do it 872 fucking times. Again, where I'm going to glaze the fucking puzzles in this game. They all feel cool and necessary and dope as fuck, because you're not constantly doing the same puzzle over and over again. And it's so nice in modern gaming to not do the same puzzle 87 times. But the phone rings, and of course it's douchebag cop guy. And he's like, I got the little girl, what you gonna do about it? But instead of it just being an objective for you to later get, this part is really cool, because as you're taking this phone call, it puts you in the shoes of the girl, where you're figuring out a puzzle. This one gave me some trouble. This one was a piece of shit, and I fucking hated this thing. Not that it's a bad made puzzle, it just took me way too goddamn long. I don't know if my brain's broken, but when I did get these scissors and was able to progress as this little girl, I was so happy. But this section is no cap, one of the scariest goddamn moments I have ever been in a game. My wife could hear me letting out little girlish screams ah, whoa, ah, throughout this entire goddamn area, dude. I was constantly afraid. I mean, even when I'm like looking at that dead chick on a pool table, like, why is there a dead woman on a pool table? Did he like do something nasty to her? What is he doing behind this curtain? I am like so scared here. I don't even think about looking up until like after I've already done a full rotation around this room. And as I go to try to get the key in this area, he fucking pulls the curtain back because I guess he was just beating his meat or something. Creepy. You have a little girl in your house. Why are you that you've kidnapped? You shouldn't be doing anything like that at this moment. Bro gives off hardcore Vosh vibes, and you think that she's like trapped, right? But she's too smart for that, and it hits him with like poison or acid. It was acid. Hits him like straight up acid, and this is where this shit gets terrifying. This guy, this big, clunky, sweating, disgusting old man chasing you around a mansion is so fucking scary. Now, most of the time I just rotated around this cabinet that I found here while he searched aimlessly for me while screeching in pain, but damn was this terrifying. When he did that, when he did the fucking lift the light up thing, I thought I was screwed. Dude, I was straight up pissing myself. Oh, so scared. I don't think I've ever been this scared in a game. And like, there was moments where the spider bitch from the Evil Within had me like clenching my pearls. But bro, they were inverted. I was a woman during this section. Like, straight up all my junk shoved right back inside of me from sheer tension and fear. But eventually, bro's face begins to hurt so much that he needs to go to the bathroom and like rinse his fucking blood and gore out of his face, which gives you a moment, an insane little like window of time to run up and steal these keys before he can have the opportunity to really fucking pound you in, which is fantastic and wonderful. And I made this run faster than anything in my life. This whole time I was just like, right now my legs shaking in anticipation of running with her. I mean, every time this key went into the lock, I was like, faster, faster, fucking go, key, do your goddamn job. I need to get the hell out of here. I need to get to the goddamn front door and fucking get away from this creepy, sweaty man's horrible smell. He is terrifying, and I do not like this. Every zombie in the game isn't even close to as scary as this son of a bitch is, and when I found out those fucking things were locked, bro, oh, dude, it was again a fear, dude. And I was just like, every time that key took a second for that animation, I was petrified. And like right here when she locks the door, I'm like, oh, thank God, finally I have a second. And an axe comes through the door. Where did he even get the axe? I don't know, but I'm scared and I don't like it. It's just, this whole section was so terrifying. It is one of the best horror sections I have ever played in a game. And the way it ends, too, with you thinking he's just about to get her, that you are lost. It is over. She cannot get away, and he gets a hold of her, bro, and I just am so scared what he's about to do when all of a sudden you see the orange eye, bro, and he just grabs a hold of him and just like shoves shit into his mouth, and it's like this worms coming out of his mouth. Oh my God, dude. And I was even more scared for the girl. I was like, what's about to happen next? And it cuts away back to Claire, and you finally are able to get out of the parking garage. How freaking insane. I was so on the edge. When I saw the big guy here, I wasn't scared of him anymore. Yeah, he was scary, but I knew that he walked slow, that I can move around, that I already know this environment incredibly well, unlike the mansion where the girl was at, where I didn't know what the fuck was around each corner. It was kind of relaxing to be able to run away from this guy again. Jesus Christ, that poor kid. And honestly, this next section, the only thing that really comes after you which are these dogs, which are kind of annoying, but I have a machine gun, so they're pussies compared to me. So this was actually kind of a step back and gave my heart a chance to stop beating out of my goddamn throat. I mean, talk about a game coming in and slapping some extreme clit when it comes to fun zone and fear. This is like the best. And it's the best because of the fact that the urgency you feel isn't the urgency of the dread chasing you. It's about finding this girl because you know what kind of hell she's in. You know what she's been through during this whole period. That you've actually had it easier. And even when he comes busting out of the room and it kind of startles you a little bit, he doesn't seem as big, which is insane because before he was this monster of a human being, but seeing him in this weakened state as a full adult, and even with this creature popping out of his stomach. It's not as terrifying as what that poor little child had to go through. It's why the first part of the It movies is the scarier part, because when you put yourself in the place of a kid, that fear that you experienced just looking in the dark corner of your room as a child comes back. And that is so much more powerful than just about anything. But I do finally meet up with Shelly, and we make our escape to the elevator. And god damn it, could we have not gotten there fast enough? Only fucking giant scary dude shows up, and this is the first close-up you get of his face. And dear god was I scared, only for him to get fucking obliterated. He got some goddamn quadruple penetration from these claws. Jesus Christ, I mean, talk about gnarly as shit. This guy just rips him in goddamn half. A guy that previously, anytime you came to any sort of fight with him, you had no chance whatsoever, and this monster made him look like a child's plaything. Insane. And you're woken up by this lady in a lab coat who basically tells you Shelly is her daughter, and that you need to get your goddamn nose out of other people's problems. You need to mind your own goddamn problems, because me and mine are my problems. That's kind of what she tells you in summed up capacity. But then you start the sewer levels. Now, I wasn't very excited when I got into the sewers, because for the most part, I'm not big on sewers in games. They're usually kind of a mid-section. But this sewer was pretty freaking litty McSkitty. There's a couple reasons why. One is the gross aesthetic kind of fits with the horror theme. Another is it's more of the things that I already loved in the previous area of the game, but with a new environment. Not to mention also the fact that Shelly's mom just kind of locks her in a room to die, and you're supposed to figure out how to save her. That seems to be a great motivation compared to just me and Marvin getting out of the precinct to meet up with Leo. I think the fact that I'm trying to save a child's life is way cooler. Another huge impactful thing is a new enemy type that pops up here, bro. This thing is gnarly. Look at that. Oh my, they're big, they're cool, their head splits into 4 directions like they're from Halo. Not to mention that they're a normal enemy in this game, where they're the bigger ones, you have to kind of focus in on their weak spot, but you can overcome that by shooting them with a goddamn grenade launcher like everything. But they're a fun monster to fight. Every time you come into contact with them, you'll come into contact with them a couple times. The first time I was like scared, it got a hold of me. The next time, baby, look at me just lay this dude's pussy out right. I like spread its goddamn meat slab between its legs right apart and just fillet its ass, dude. And then I was like, well, you know, maybe I'll hit it with the SMG next. So the next one I got to, bro, look at this. Look at this. His eyeballs on his back couldn't take this pounding. I fucked him so hard. Oh my god, I love these enemies. That's another reason. And just the gore and the grimy and the goopiness around this area was so sick. I also received a new style of weapon in this area. It's like a electricity gun. Not my favorite. I went to use it on this monster and he got a hold of me because I was too close. I then hit him again with it and let it charge up. I think the charge time's a bit long. Not too bad, but it was just, compared to the other arsenal of weapons I had, it didn't get to see the light of day for a long time after this. On to the main goal of this area. Like the last section, you're looking for special items. The last area was these medallions. This area, it's chess pieces. Once you collect all of these chess pieces, you have to assemble them next to a door. Once that door opens, you have access to the area to where Shelly is located. So I went and found all of them. I did the little puzzle. It has a little note on the wall telling you how to do it. Kind of easy peasy, nothing too brain teasery, but I mean, it was fun enough. I liked that to get some of these puzzle pieces, you have to do some other puzzles that take some real ingenuity. I like that. It was well made. Again, the puzzles are just coming in clutch, slapping all sorts of clit, and I love it. After this, you get down to the bottom and you get cornered in a room where you're basically like a mouse stuck in a box, and a cat's reaching in its claws, but instead of a cat, it's like a giant monster of fucking hell, and then you're a person. I did like this. It kind of made me laugh a couple times. It wasn't as scary as a lot of things were, because I think the cat imagery was just kind of really fucking with me. But after you do survive this situation, You see this jabroni breaking in, finally coming after you. I give him the old slipperooski because I'm like LaDainian Tomlinson in this bitch, only I'm a white chick named Claire. But knowing that I am good at video games, well, kind of, sort of, not really, I kind of think, okay, I want him to chase me. He came at me way harder than I thought, and then I decided that he was going to chase me regardless. I didn't need to shoot at his ass and to just run. So I book it to where the end of this little section is, where there's a control panel where I move a giant shipping crate, and then I basically just put this sucker on his knees to bow in the greatness of my wonderful vagina, and then I swing a fucking shipping container at his ass, dude. I straight up lay his ass out with like 3 tons of freaking steel. Look at this shit. Awesome little boss segment. Not like as like insane as the first time you fight him. This was kind of a quicker instance, but I mean the imagery, the over the top set pieces here, super cool. Great way to like eliminate the enemy for now. And I finally get Claire, and I find the real facility that's starting this all, Old Umbrella Corporation. And this is where we get into the last main hub of the game, the last main lock where I have to set the tumblers to move on. And this time I have a very important cause. I mean, with Shelly dealing with Raccoon City AIDS, I need to save her life. I need to cure her. And in this area, I am confronted with one of my favorite foes to date. Whatever these stupid fucking plant zombies are. They are sick. I love shooting them. They're fantastic. The puzzles in this area are intuitive, wonderful. I like the sci-fi, like office building aesthetic. This last little area was absolutely insane. I loved going into these labs. I love walking up to like giant people like this, being afraid that they're going to stand up. I am kind of disappointed he never did stand up, but fighting these guys were so cool. Popping the little fucking pustules on their body, bro. Just like Dr. Pimple Popper, bro. I'm a goddamn G. And not to mention when you grab them, nothing feels better in this game than shoving a grenade in their fucking schnoz and watching their head go pop. That is glorious. I love it. Again, whenever I was doing like little puzzles, where this one reminded me of the little police one that I did earlier, where I pull it out of my inventory, I mess with it, and then I put it into the system. I think it's really cool. I like that this game continuously is shifting it up, fucking laying its big dick down on my forehead and making me beg for more. I just love it. I love this section. I love doing all the lab stuff. I think that this game has steadily ramped up its puzzles, ramped up its environments, kept you guessing, while still having the ability to rotate through older areas. I never tried to go back to older areas in this area, so I don't know if I can still access the police department. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is there a way to go all the way back to the police department from Umbrella Corp? I don't think there is, but let me know. Also, while you're down there, leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. And if you didn't like it, dislike it and leave an angry comment. I love to hear about it all. But I finally am able to like remove all of this seaweed bullshit so that I can access the one area in the greenhouse that is not accessible, that's had some poor jabroni pinned up against the glass. Finally, it relieves itself and drops his ass to the floor, exposing that he had the key card that I need to progress through the story. So I go pick that shit up, killing more of these wonderfully made grass zombies, which are fucking awesome. I really like the greenhouse section. I don't know how to like juice it up more. This was so cool. This was such a drastic change from what I had seen previously, from the lab aesthetic to the grass and shit, that I wish that it would have been even a little longer. I mean, I loved every moment in there. It was so fucking cool. In the next section, it just kind of like is more story stuff. So you find out that the fucking giant guy with the claws who's just been like going after you, he's actually Shelly's dad. And his dumbass went to steal some of this like super serum shit that created the G virus. And his ass was like, you think I didn't know you were coming? He looks at a goddamn like SEAL team and pulls a Glock on them. Like, that's gonna fucking work. What kind of dumbass ass are you? You're surrounded by, like, ARs, buddy, and scars and shit, and you pull out a Glock? Like, what were you gonna accomplish with that, you fucking Nimrod? But as we know, he didn't actually die. He ended up becoming that monstrosity that's been chasing us this latter half of the game, and as of right now, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I mean, I kind of saw that shit coming from a mile away, but, I mean, it's still kind of cool. It's got that, oh, we got more information, everything that you've done mattered, and I do love that this game constantly is doing that, showing me that every little thing I've touched, every little thing I've seen has impact through the rest of the story. As I grab the medicine to go save Shelly's ass, I feel like I've done something. I feel like I finally unlocked the keys to everything in this game. I now officially know everything that's going on, why it's happening. I know that I can finally go save the girl and complete my objective. I'm feeling on top of the fucking world, and that's when the game decides to hit me with that stupid son of a bitch coming back, bro. He just plows through the goddamn ceiling, and I'm like, fuck. It's like a hard fuck. But I'm not too actually worried about it, because considering I fought this dude like 3 times already, I can take his ass out. I'm already rearing up ready to go. When Shelly's mom comes from out of nowhere and shoots him with like a canister filled with semen, but it's like super anti-monster semen that just like puts him on his ass. And I'm like, well, that was cool. And she's like, yeah, I hate to do this to my husband. I loved him. He had such a good dick. It didn't have any weird curves in it or anything. It was straight as an arrow, baby. But now I need to protect our seed, our child, our loving little girl. And that's all fine and dandy, but her husband is like into PBR and beating women, so he obviously got his ass up, gets a hold of her, and just straight up slams a bitch down. Like, damn, dude, damn. This is where I don't like getting in between couples altercations, but when violence starts to happen, somebody's got to intervene, and baby, that's what I'm here for. So she pulls out another semen shot and gives him the old 1-2 blast. And then it is time for me to work my magic, because she might have slowed him down. She might think that we've gotten the upper hand, but somebody needs to show this guy who's boss. Somebody needs to be his goddamn daddy, and I'm his goddamn daddy. Oh, I'm going in there. I'm gonna tear you down. I'm gonna beat you up. Your pussy ain't gonna be clean. Your pussy's gonna be tortured. It's me, Claire, and I'm here to beat your ass. And so I get my WWE grind on, and he's got some moves. He's hitting me with some rights, but I'm ducking and swerving, baby, and no matter how much he beats on me, I ain't scared of shit. I ain't scared of you in your fucking weird eyes. I'm gonna pump you so full of lead that you ain't even gonna cry. You're just gonna die. I light him on flames. He ain't got no chance. I'm pumping him up. But little do I know that this guy's got some goddamn moves. And I'm not gonna lie to you when I say that if I were to say I beat this fluidly and without any issues, that'd be a straight up lie. He was fucking putting his moves on me. I almost died so hard in this area. Like when he hit me with this fucking door, dude, I thought I was over with. I only had my Magnum, which at this point I'd upgraded to be a fucking cannon. And I thought I was done, dude. I was out of ammo. I was scared. All my shit was in storage. And when he went down, I looked at the heavens above and I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, thank you so much, my Lord. Now that I have a monstrous victory underneath my belt, it is time to save Shelly with the help of her mom, who I sent her with the cure. And in her dying acts as a good mother, she helps save her daughter by curing her of that infection. And it's time for us to take our leave. Even though we want to take her mom with us, we know that she cannot make the journey, much like Marvin before her. And it's time that I protect her daughter the way that she couldn't. In this tragic moment, with Shelly standing over her dead mom's body, I know that she can't even take the time to process that both of her parents are gone and will never come back, because we need to evacuate get out of this area. The place is starting to crumble. The world's falling down around us. This button won't let me push it because the elevator didn't need to have the button pushed. And when I realized the door just closed, I felt so safe. Not gonna lie. But the straight up view you get from this area, this is an elevator. Not as cool as the last one. What's going on around the elevator? Sick as fuck. It's a cool elevator. Solid 7 out of 10. But this generator? 9 out of 10. Look at how much danger that is coming, Will Robinson. It is so much danger levels. And just to prove the game's point, once you actually get down to the bottom of the elevator and enter the last little section, the game throws a goddamn timer on your ass and you feel the sense of urgency because this place is gonna blow. And that's when I found out this electric gun works fucking dope on these stupid weed guys. I mean, watching them pop with this electric gun, I know that there was faster methods to kill them, but I really never did experiment much with this gun because of the amount of time it consumes. I'm not gonna lie, watching these guys pop in this last area when I used up all of this ammunition was freaking sweet, dude. I really liked that little bit of time I spent utilizing this gun. I felt like I finally gave it its due. Now, is it the best gun in the game? No. This is the best gun in the game. The fucking minigun. Because after we get to the bottom, we get to this train car and we decide to make our leave, and this bastard shows up one more time. Her dad's like, Daddy's home, and he brought the milk. Except for instead of milk, he's bringing death. Death and all sorts of creepy vibes. And I used every single tool in my arsenal in this boss fight, and I was so scared that I wasn't gonna make it. It was a fight to the goddamn death. When he lunges at you, you need to get your ass moving because he is quick, he is fast, he is mean, and I was putting every round I possibly could have in every freaking gun on his ass so fast. I have never been more thankful in a game that I decided to hit up the last loot box in this section and pull out everything in my inventory so I'd have every fucking tool available. I mean, this dude whooped my ass a couple times. I'm not even gonna fucking cap, but I made sure that I did like a rhythm here. I started with the minigun. I popped as many fucking eyes as I could. Then I would use the edge of the train so he couldn't lunge on me. And then I'd quarter peek his ass. And that was the strategy that ended up facilitating my victory royale on this stupid son of a bitch. Fucking basic dancing on his ass. It was time. He was crawling at me at this point, and I'm like, bitch, you ain't got nothing. You ain't shit. Your mama ain't shit. Your daddy ain't shit. I'm your daddy now, you stupid bitch. Finally time to become this bitch's actual daddy. He blows up into this gross puddle of blood and guts and gore. Wonderful. What a conclusion. What a boss fight. And as we fade off, it's time that we have our safety little escape, and we connect to another train. And on that other train is my boy Leon, and we know my boy Leon's on that train. Shelly's safe, I'm safe, my boy Leon's gonna be okay, and this game is a 9 out of 10. I absolutely loved every single second of it. It was a fun play. I hope you've enjoyed the video as much as I enjoyed the game and I enjoyed making this video itself. I truly believe that everyone should go out and play this game. It's on Game Pass. It's usually on sale almost every other week for like $5. It is definitely worth every penny and every second you spend with it. And it's not a long game at all. I think this playthrough took me 8 hours to do, 8 or 9 hours. Perfect amount of time. And you get a wonderful ending. I hate when games end sad, so that's all I got for you guys. I've enjoyed every second of it, and I love you. Catch you later.